You're listening to the True North Success Podcast. Real stories of personal, professional, and financial wins from Alberta's best. With your hosts, Gary Ma and Amy Kim.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Today, my special guest is Kelly Barrie. Kelly is a physiotherapy a consultant and clinic owner, Avenue Physiotherapy with over 30 years of experience, specializing in spinal pain and movement-based rehabilitation. She helps clients achieve lasting recovery and optimal function. It's a real pleasure to have Kelly on the show today. Welcome, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you, Amy. It's nice to be here.
Awesome, Kelly. So I gave a brief overview of your success. Can you fill in the detail of what you do?
Yeah. So as you said, I've been a physio for 30 years. Hard to believe, but I still love it. I'm still passionate for it. I've worked most of my career in downtown Calgary. I have also worked at some clinics which have focused on people who have more chronic pain. So I have some experience working with physiatrists and radiologists that do interventional radiology, which means injections. And I do have a special interest in persistent pain, as you said. I've also been a clinic owner for over 12 years. So I own Avenue Physio. It used to be called Fifth Ave Physio, but we had to change our name because we were no longer on Fifth Ave. And it was getting confusing. So it is the a clinic that's been around for 40 years in downtown Calgary. It's actually the longest standing clinic in downtown Calgary. So it is a great kind of history behind it. We have super committed patients. We have great patients. We treat musculoskeletal conditions. So that really means anything that has a muscle, a joint, a nerve. And as a team, we have a special interest in challenges, not challenging patients, challenging problems. We like shoulders, necks, and the TMJ, the jaw. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you don't look like you have a 30 years experience, by the
Oh,
way.
well, that's good to hear.
So I'm always interested in learning about the story behind. Like, could you share how you first got started in this field?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think like all good physios, it all started with an injury. I think every physio would tell you that story. So when I was 18 years old, I tore my ACL, a pretty significant injury, when I was playing volleyball. I was a competitive volleyball player. And I was the last of the casted patients. So what that means is I was hospitalized. I was in hospital, I think, for 4 days. I had a full cast on. I couldn't wait there for 3 months. Now people are just in and out with surgery. So rehab at the time was very different, and it was a fairly significant injury. So at that time, I kind of had piqued my interest, and I was in high school. Really, my favorite class was phys ed. So I went on to U of A and took phys ed. It was called phys ed at the time. Now it's called a kinesiology degree. But when I was in phys ed, we did a lot of anatomy. And then they had these bell ringer exams, which meant that you had to quickly say within the time what the muscle was, what the attachment was. And I was like anatomy and competition. I thought I'd like fallen in love. It was just so much fun. So that really I knew that was the area I wanted to go into. So after that, then I went on and took my physio degree at McMaster. And then as far as being a business owner, I don't know, my dad, he was a businessman, and he was always saying, you got to buy something for tax reasons, I think was the original to kind of push me that way. But I just remember as a kid buying my first car, and it was not a nice car, and I just loved that car, and I washed it all the time. And I think that pride and ownership was something I just really wanted to experience.
Wow, such a lovely story. I love that. So you actually start as a patient, trying to solving your own problems and going through the pains like that, and then you find out that actually this is a very the industry that you have a passion. You find your passion, and also the inspired from your dad about the entrepreneurship. So I love your story. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
So with your experience of treating, the clinical spinal conditions and all other, the experience as well, what differentiate your approach to help a patient, achieve a long-term recovery?
Yeah, I think for me, personally, is I just care. I care a lot. I care about people. People are awesome. And everybody comes with a very different story. Pain is so different. Everybody's experience is so different. So, firstly, I really want to get people better. I want to understand what their goals are, what they're trying to do to get better. I think the other thing too is I would say that I'm a really hard worker. There's lots of things to learn in physio, and really you're always learning. The human body is a pretty amazing thing. So I would say just having a really strong kind of work ethic, and as a clinic, like as a team, I think we're very defined in what our values are as a team, so that kind of people know what to expect from us. Because following with that work ethic, everybody's hired on this team because they're going to give like 100% to every patient. They're also really accountable to that patient. So if a patient's asking for something specifically, we're going to really explain to them what we feel is the best, but we're going to work together with that patient. Other goals of ours is just to be really supportive and lots of empathy. Being in pain is not fun, and really being empathetic towards our patient.
I love it. I love it. So, okay, what is the one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
By far, that's a pretty easy one. I would say that was COVID.
Oh,
That
yes.
was definitely like you think we were a downtown clinic. We were a successful clinic, and we went from being really quite busy to not. And really, what was most challenging during COVID is for us, lots of the clinics that were in the suburbs slowly kind of within like after a year, they then started getting busier as people were working from home. And for us, we actually a year in got less busy because we didn't have any new patients really coming to see us. We had all our patients were still coming and driving. And in fact, I had patients driving from Canmore to come see me because they were living out there. So we had people that were very dedicated to us, but it was quite a challenging time to go through something. I really struggled because I personally kind of felt like a failure. Hadn't had kind of a success. I'd always had successes and been able just to work hard and create that success. But this was something that really, the harder I worked, it wasn't getting me anywhere. And kind of during that time, I probably made emotional decisions and not the best decisions kind of for the team. And yeah, so it was quite a learning for me personally as a leader, for sure.
Mhm. And then how did you, I believe that a lot of, business owners had to shut down their businesses. I hear a lot of stories like that too. And how did you ever to like, were you ever to turn around and still in the business, That is a very, also a very inspiring story to share with our audience.
Yeah, yeah, there certainly were days that I wanted to quit, but because of our very loyal patients, we just kind of continued on. During that very kind of like year and a half in, that I was like, wow, this is this is not what I signed up for. I think I just I started being kinder to myself. instead of blaming myself so much and kind of being negative. I'm like, that's not going to help. There was a Brené Brown quote that really got me through. That was, it's if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked on occasion, I'm not interested or open to your feedback. So I really then reached out to other clinic owners. I reached out to other people who were going through the same thing as myself. And then I also got a business coach at that time that worked with, there was 3 other business owners, 2 from Winnipeg, and we all kind of worked together and supported each other. And that then just setting little goals and one step at a time then got ourselves back on track. And then actually we had to move the clinic. Fifth Ave Physio used to be over on Fifth, and now we're in Stephen Avenue Place in downtown Calgary. So as we were slowly getting going, then I found out that my lease wasn't going to be renewed, and so just had to get in there and just focus on another new challenge.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I love that because, that sounds a lot, takes a lot of, resilience to come back and never give up. I'm gonna look for, find a solution, like, right, right. So I
Mm-hmm.
love your story.
Thank you. Yeah.
And what about the exciting plans do you have, initiatives do you have upcoming over the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so like I said, we've been in our space in Stephen Avenue Place, so we are right downtown, like really downtown Calgary now. We're on the C train line, so we're looking to still grow in this spot, let more people know who we are, and keep helping people in downtown Calgary. And then I'm really interested in taking some AI courses to see how I can run my business a little bit more effectively and with some support. And we're trying to grow. We have osteoarthritis programs. We have pelvic health, like I said, at the top, TMJ, so jaw issues. So we're looking at those kind of specialized areas. We have a really experienced team and how we can really help people that seem to be looking for a little bit more specialized areas.
hmm Can you tell me a little bit more about like problems with the jars? Like what's typical problems people have with the jars?
With the jaws.
Yeah.
Um, so there can be problems around just muscle tension.
Mm,
So because of stress and holding the jaw really tight. Also, the jaw is very impacted on if we're sitting at our desk all day long and we're kind of leaning forward posture wise. That can affect how your jaw is sitting, how your tongue is sitting. It's you think we have this big ball sitting on top of like a skinny kind of neck. So your strength has a lot to do with it. So it's a very interesting structure that's also a very sensitive structure because of course our jaw is important, chewing is important. So anything that our brain considers an important feature to survive, our brain makes it even more sensitive. So it can become a bit of a persistent kind of pain problem.
awesome. Because I heard a lot of pains about, spinal pain and the back pain and other shoulders like that, but I haven't like it wasn't very familiar with me, so that's why I thought maybe I should bring
Yeah.
up and then maybe share that information with others in case, somebody looking for help. So
Mm-hmm.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like things are going really good and your business. So congratulations, Kelly.
Thank you.
Awesome. So, many business, we're gonna a little bit talk about the financial success here. So many business, medical professionals earning strong incomes right now, but it often requires a significant investment of time and energy. And looking ahead, like a common goal is to maintain the same level of income and a lifestyle while working less, and especially with the inflation at all-time high. So as a result, many people are exploring ways to generate income outside of their primary work, such as like, investing in stocks or cryptocurrency, precious metal or real estate. What are your thoughts about creating income outside of work?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I think probably most people don't realize that physios in private practice, we don't often have benefits. So we get our
Oh.
physio for free, but often the benefits aren't always the best. Like in other bigger companies, we're just a small business. And physios they get paid for what they do. So if a patient doesn't show up, they don't get paid. So we are very much, I think, in a kind of a hustle field. So I think it's great to, at the beginning, you hustle a lot, you can work more, which is great. I paid off my student loans that way. But there's also a big kind of burnout. So I think it's really important for physios to have good accountants, have good bookkeepers and that, and investment people. So we got to start young. You got to figure out at the beginning, and it is a marathon. I think you've got to start young, putting money away, and then I encourage all our physios, if they're interested in side hustles, being doing courses on the side, things that are within their field. Yeah, I don't know. I encourage people to. You take little inches, that you don't want to do anything that's necessarily really high risk. Everybody's risk is different, but it's also maybe nice to take like a small amount of money and do something maybe riskier. You're not going to lose that money, but maybe that's your play money to do some different investments.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your input. Love that. So, were there any key lessons from your career that changed how you view recovery and resilient and long-term health?
For me personally,
Yes.
yeah. I think that everybody's different for sure. Like if I think back to when I tore ligaments in my knee, I was 18 years old. Everybody I hung out with played volleyball, and all of a sudden I wasn't. So it was kind of a lonely time. So to have a support of a physio who understood that, really knew my story and understood what I was trying to get back to is just so important. So the same for us, always understanding like, why are people here? What's going on in their life? The more we can understand what's going on, the more we can really explain to them. Uh, Pain's a very challenging thing, and a lot of the time pain stops people from actually moving. They get fearful. They think that something seriously is going on, and sometimes it's not. It's actually you need to keep moving, not stop moving. So really impacting people's overall kind of health and life, and really understanding what their story is.
Awesome. So, as I wrap it up, what advice you kind of give already advice, but is there any additional advice would you share with the individuals living with chronic pain and recurring, injuries who want to improve their mobility and quality of life, other than, we gotta keep moving even though it is painful and challenge?
Yeah. So just like how I would say to anyone, probably in your life, having a good mentor, having a good coach, as a physio, our job is to help coach people. Also, really to give, like, we really stand on giving evidence-based practice. And unfortunately, there's a lot of things. Don't get your health advice from TikTok, is what I would say. So, but really making sure that you're getting some evidence-based treatment. And what we do know is going to a physio clinic and laying on heat and with a machine later on with a chronic problem doesn't do anything. You have to put in the hard work, and the hard work might be making some real lifestyle changes. It could be around your sleep. It could be around us encouraging you to go see a psychologist. It's walking and moving. And so there's just so many pieces to it, and it's hard work, but certainly you can get there with the right support.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. because we have to approach it from the holistic point of view, not just the one way. And they're very important to have that quality of life, to keep up with that quality of life. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly, for your time today and sharing some of your great insights and inspiring stories with us. So it was a great pleasure to have you on the show today, Kelly. If people would like to connect with you, how they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, they could email me directly, just at my name, Kelly, Kelly, Barrie, Barrie, at avenuephysio.ca, or they could call the clinic Avenue Physio in downtown Calgary.
Awesome. So we truly appreciate your time and perspective you brought to the conversation.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Amy. I enjoyed it.
Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at truenorthsuccessshow.com/guest. We'd love to hear from you.